Well, let's go to the social media board and see if we've got any more questions.
We have another English question. I like this question. This question's exciting. It's got walking and running and
math?
dogs. It's
Okay.
a math question,
Okay.
yes. That's how exciting it is.
Yeah.
You can't even tell what kind of a question it is.
Luigi does love this question,
But-
by the way.
Two people are 1 mile apart and they walk towards each other with a speed of 2 miles an hour. That's each person's walking 2 miles an hour. Person A releases their dog who runs at 8 miles an hour. So the dog's running 8 miles an hour. The dog runs from the other person and then turns around and runs back till they have reached each other. So it's running back and forth between these people. What distance does the dog run?
Okay.
It's an exciting question.
It is an exciting question. That is an awesome question, especially with the dogs. I love that idea. This is something that I can actually picture happening in the real world. So, and it's kind of nice to know how much exercise that dog is getting. So I'm going to answer this as best as I can. If you cut to my computer, as usual, I'm going to show you a diagram or a picture. The problem said there were two people and they were 1 mile apart. So with these distance problems, a lot of times I like to actually draw it so I know what's going on. So they're 1 mile apart. One person A has a dog. So let's say this guy has a dog. And the dog is running back and forth between A and B, back and forth until A and B, those people actually meet in the middle. Now, it said that those people are going 2 miles an hour. And so they're both going at the same speed or rate, so you can assume that they're going to meet in the middle. And they're both going to be going the same distance for the same amount of time. So the first thing that we want to figure out is how long is it going to take them to meet? Because if we find out how long it's going to take them to meet in the middle, then we know how long the dog was running for. And if we know how long the dog is running for, we also know the speed the dog was running or the rate the dog is running, then we can find out the distance that the dog is actually running. Because although the dog is going from point A to person B, it's doing this again and again and again, and we have to add up that the distance. So if we think about the distance formula, you can kind of write it, or sorry, the rate formula, you can kind of write it in a couple ways. Distance divided by time is going to give you rate, or you could think of it this way. Distance is going to equal your rate times time. We're going to use these equations, these basic things, to help us solve this. So let's go with the people first, because we need to find out how much time it's taking them. So we know that they're going for 1 mile. I'm going to use this first formula here on the top. We know that they're going, so our distance is 1, and we don't know the time, and then the rate is 2 miles an hour. So what we can do then is we can find out what the time is by isolating t. And to do that, we would end up multiplying both sides by t. So you have 1 equals 2t. And then divide by 2. So you have t equals 1/2. And since we're in miles per hour, that means that we're in hours. So this is half of an hour, or 30 minutes. Or, yeah, 30 minutes. So, hang on, 2 miles an hour. Give me a second, I'm sorry. So they're actually I'm sorry. So the distance is actually going to be half of a mile, so 0.5, because they're not walking the full mile, they're walking half of it. I'm sorry about that. So then you end up having, it didn't make sense to me. So you end up having, it's 15 minutes, or 0.25 of an hour, which is going to be 15 minutes when you solve for t. So now that we know that it's going to take 15 minutes in order for these two people to meet in the middle, we know that the dog is going to be running for 15 minutes at 8 miles an hour. So we're going to use, again, the formula to help us find out how far the dog is running. So we are going to use the second formula. We'll say d, distance, is going to equal the rate, which is 8 miles an hour, times the time, which is 0.25, 15 minutes. So then when we multiply those, it's going to give us that the distance is, so by fourth, is 2 miles. all together. So that dog, when it runs back and forth from person A to B, again and again, overall, it's going to be going for 2 miles. So big complicated problem, but you can make it easier definitely with those diagrams and by using formulas.